This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 13th day of August in the year 2018. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The Guyana Teachers Union has officially informed its membership of the decision for them to begin strike action in time for the new school year. In a memo to teachers, GTU President Mark Light informed them that a strike action will begin on August 27 and continue until further notice. Schools are set to reopen their doors on September 3rd. The union has asked head teachers to take the school keys to their respective education departments from Friday, August 21. Teachers are also being asked not to report for work from the commencement of preterm activities until further notice. The union is also warning them against listening to threats that might come their way, informing them that as workers in Guyana they have a right to strike action. We spoke to the Teachers Union President Mark Light via telephone today.
We believe that what will cause us to have a change of heart on this matter is a feasible and acceptable proposal being put on the table for the union to treat with. We believe that our government can do better to address the needs of our teachers in Guyana, so we will not budge unless something is put on the table.
According to Mr. Light, the decision to call for a strike was taken by the Guyana Teachers Union on the insistence of its members to call strike action due to failed talks between the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union. The union said it views the counter proposal tabled by the Ministry of Education as an insult to the integrity of all teachers in Guyana.
We need to know that teachers are the ones who work with every other profession. So we quickly did the math and realized that this figure, though it sounded a lot, it was a deceitful figure. We also recognize that the 200 million offered for debunching was another insult because we have not received our debunching money from 2011. So you can't come to the table and tell us that debunching will be given as of the new academic year 2018-2019 and we must forget about the past. No.
Many parents are hoping that the Ministry of Education and the government will listen to the teachers' demands and give in to some of those demands. More news in a moment.
Summer is for selfies with lots of data from GTT. Activate a 3-day or more data plan to get up to 35% extra data and a chance to win big. LOL this summer with GTT, Guyana's #1 network.
Summer is for friends, weekly prizes, and super summer getaways from Caribbean Airlines. So top up $1,000 or more and get 25% bonus credit plus a chance to win big. LOL this summer with GTT, Guyana's #1 network.
Welcome back. 50-year-old Police Sergeant Alfred Parks was today slapped with 12 counts of fraud related to the driver's examination, which is conducted by the Guyana Police Force. The accused appeared before Principal Magistrate Judy Latchman and was not required to enter a plea to the charges, as they were read to him. The court was told that on the 12th of April in Georgetown, with the intent to defraud the state, Parks forged 12 police examination papers in the names of persons who never took the exams. The police prosecutor did not object to bail. The magistrate ordered that the police sergeant be placed on bail in the sum of $1.3 million for the 12 charges. The shocked policeman requested that his bail be reduced, since others who have been charged with the same crime were granted a much lesser bail. Just a few weeks ago, 2 other officers were charged with a total of 38 charges pertaining to the same traffic examination, and they were granted bail in the sum of $160,000 and $150,000. The magistrate did not buy that argument, and she kept the bail at a high figure. The police sergeant will be back in court later this month for the continuation of the case. Let's tell you now that the Guyana Police Force today announced that 2 Ukrainian nationals who were caught on camera assaulting a local minor will face the local courts to face criminal charges. 38-year-old Vitaly Parashuk will face 2 counts of threatening behavior and assault causing actual bodily harm committed on Charles Clark. His fellow Ukrainian national, 33-year-old Maskim Furtak, will face a charge of threatening behavior committed on Rudolph Dean. Additionally, the Ukrainians as well as local minor Charles Clark will be charged separately with contravention of the Private Security Services Act of 2009 for their failure to wear their prescribed uniforms. They are all expected to appear in court tomorrow before the Chief Magistrate. At first, it was suspected that the two foreign security guards were Russians, but the Russian embassy later confirmed that they were indeed Ukrainians. The two Ukrainian men are reportedly attached to a foreign mining company in the interior region that is operating on a local claim that was granted to another local company. It was a few months ago that the two foreign nationals got into a heated confrontation with the local miners over land that the locals were on. The Ukrainians demanded to see documents since they claimed that the men were trespassing. An argument ensued, and during that argument, one of the Ukrainian men punched one of the local miners to the face. He also pulled a gun on the man. Once the video surfaced of the incident and started to make the rounds on social media, a police investigation was launched. The police is now moving to file charges based on legal advice that was sought. 3 families in the west of Demerara continue to mourn this evening following the death of 3 friends who lost their lives in an early morning crash along the Grange public road on the west bank of Demerara yesterday. A 4th friend remains hospitalized with serious injuries. The accident occurred just after 4 o'clock yesterday morning when motorcar PDD 7182 being driven by 33-year-old Leroy Levens slammed into the back of a truck that was parked to the side of the roadway. Levens was among the 3 who died. The other 2 have been identified as 25-year-old Devendra Hardayal and 20-year-old Rishi Parsa. Hardayal and Parsa were from the Grange area, while the driver lived at Nimes. The accident's only survivor is 22-year-old David Bourne of good fortune. He remains hospitalized. According to a police statement, the friends were on their way home after a night at a party when tragedy struck. A police statement disclosed that the driver was speeding when he lost control and collided with a lorry which was parked to the side of the roadway. The impact of the collision shifted the lorry from its parked position and ripped the car apart. The driver, Leroy Levens, and passenger Devendra Hardayal were pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital, while the 3rd person passed away later yesterday. An investigation has been launched. 2 police ranks, a subordinate officer and a constable, remain in custody this evening as an investigation continues into the shooting death of a Brazilian miner in the Peruni district bank dam on Saturday. The 2 were reportedly on patrol in the area when the officer, who remained in a boat, reportedly heard 2 loud gunshots. When he ventured out, he saw the armed constable standing a short distance away from the lifeless body of the Brazilian man. The constable initially claimed that he shot the man after the man opened fire on him. But as another group of police officers responded to the report, eyewitnesses revealed that the policeman was the only one armed and the only one who did any shooting. Persons who witnessed the shooting incident have since identified the dead Brazilian miner as 37-year-old Estevio Marques Costa. They said he worked in the area with his mother and stepfather, and they are doubting the police constable's version of events that the man opened fire on him. According to one local miner who interpreted the account of a Brazilian in the area, the miner, upon seeing the policeman, attempted to run from the scene for unknown reasons. They claimed that without any warning, the policeman opened fire on him, hitting the man to the head. The man's mother was also at the scene and screamed out uncontrollably for justice. News source understands that police ranks would make regular patrols in the communities along the Peruni area to investigate reports of illegal mining and to inspect the documents of persons mining in the area. The probe continues this evening. And finally this evening, a 19-year-old young man who hurried his family and friends into their yard when he noticed 2 suspicious men on a motorcycle is nursing a gunshot wound to the face after he prevented the men from entering the yard. The youngster has been identified as Azad Landu. The incident occurred last night at his Good Hope East Coast Demerara home. Reports indicate that the youth and his family members were hanging out in front of their yard when he noticed the motorcycle riding men circling the area. He told his family to get into the yard. As they were making their way into the yard, the 2 men came riding towards them. The teen stayed behind and was able to lock the gate, but was shot to the face. The men sped off from the scene as an alarm was raised. He was taken to a city hospital where doctors performed emergency surgery. They suspect that he might lose some hearing in one of his ears. The entire incident was captured on surveillance cameras, and this evening police investigators are reviewing the footage in an attempt to identify the gunmen. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.